going on. Yeah, I think when it comes to intuition, it's only now that I'm beginning to realise, let's see if I can put this in, that the tell your story helps to reset. So it helps us to reset in terms of knowing where our intuition is. It's actually discovering our intuition. It's discovering us, where we're talking from, not where our parents or school teachers or caregivers or whatever. It actually helps us to align to us. And then it's like once you know who you are, then the practice then starts, and the whole point of holding sessions and holding space for people is it's to offer discernment. You know, it's like many of us have been told not to judge. You know, growing up, don't judge people. You know, just don't judge people. Yet, really, we do judge people because it's part of. We don't have the time to really listen to people. So we do make judgments, but then I know for myself, it was about what's the difference between judgment and discernment? And as an adult, discernment became kind of, that's what discernment is. Discernment for me is where you can judge somebody, but it's when you act upon it, it becomes wrong. So discernment is where you can, for me, hold space and hold a pause in a way.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like a judgment is where you make a decision about somebody and then you act upon it. Whereas discernment is that you might make a decision, but you hold it in suspense. As a kind of like, that's how I see discernment. So it took me a long time to make that decision, because I would try not to make a judgment about somebody, but then I would find myself in situations that I just think, geez, Anthony, you could have seen that coming, but because I was so hell-bent on not judging somebody, I wouldn't make that decision, you know, that kind of thing. So even though sometimes I'd go against my intuition, whereas now it's not a case of going against my intuition, it's kind of really noticing the intuition, and it's about how do you experience the expression of intuition. And through telling your story, it helps you to gauge that compass. And then the next level is the game really helps you to practice it. It helps you to practice when you sat opposite somebody else and you're asking them questions, or they're coming out with statements, you're helping to facilitate. You can gauge it with yourself, because this energy that comes in, it's been amazing at how many times you would sit there, you'll experience it probably, where a question's asked or a statement's read out, and you know that person's answer because you can feel it. It's like a real strong feeling, but it's only when you're in it and playing it that you get to experience it. It's a concept, you can't talk about it in the head. It's a feeling, you know, it's in motion, really.
You need to experience it,
Yeah. And it's like somebody said.
That's another powerful reason why it's really good to have the physical game in front of you, because, you know, we can do so much virtually like this, but it is different. It's not the same as actually sitting in the same room. I mean, you know, you can also say energy travels and all the rest of it, but I'm sure if we're sitting in the same room having this conversation, we'd be feeling the energy differently than we are now.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think we're getting away from that.
And I think that's going to be an interesting one. I mean, 3 weeks. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It's like, oh my gosh, 21 days. That's the thing. I think being sat, because there's nothing, you can't beat human contact. I think that was always my concern about Tell Your Story and doing it online. I just thought, not sure. And even though the first time we had a lot of people, but we never had I didn't think about a group setting. It was just a group of people, all individually, sending them the stories to me, never coming together and sitting and reading our stories out. And that always felt a bit odd, but at the same time, the fact that people were able to express themselves and the depth that they would go to just from reading, and I didn't do any audio, was kind of like, wow, this is incredible. So this feels more, Tell Your Story as it is now feels better And it's going to be interesting when we meet together as well, because I think it's about having a combination of things. And I think it's like with the game. The game, I knew it was going to be a game that was online. No, I didn't know it was going to be a game. I wanted it to be a game online, but I didn't want it to be how like the young people see gaming. You know, I remember saying to a couple of young people, I've got a game. They're like, "Wow, you've got a game!" You know, all excited that it's a game online. And no, not quite the same. So I knew it was going to be online, but I didn't know how it was going to be online. But I knew that I could hear the game. I mean, if there's a dice that can go and be thrown online, perfect, because that's been the
sure there is. Somebody will have invented that. Sure.
Exactly, because that is the noise that I've heard. However, I do think send and play is definitely the way that we've got to go with this game. I think it's going to be about creating a real movement around gaming slightly differently. I think we're going to be in a league on our own, but I do think that it's because it's not like just a shop, a game that you go into the shop and you buy. No, it's not one of those. It's a game that's passed on to people. It's played online. It can be facilitated online, but you need to have the game in order to be able to do it. And I think that is just. I think that's just going to be a different branding. It's going to be brilliant because I mean, I do think, like I said, those counters. There's just something about that bag that gets passed around. I've seen it too many times where people are keen.
Well, energy, it's physical energy that's being passed from one person to another.
Yeah.
And I think that's true. It's about, you know, I think the internet and the way we can connect like this is fantastic.
Yeah.
But it will never, ever, ever replace face-to-face human contact.
No.
I think it can augment it. It can substitute to a certain extent. It can bring something to people that they would otherwise not get, but it will never be the same as getting in a room together.
No.
But the fact is that, you know, we can't always necessarily get in a physical room together.
No, exactly.
We shouldn't try, and that those who have the opportunity to won't benefit from it. Just as those who can only ever connect virtually like this won't benefit from something. You know, they clearly will, but I think there's no doubt that meeting face to face will just add an element. You know, we've all made a connection online as we have now. I have absolutely no doubt that those of us who can make it to this retreat will deepen that connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, it's interesting because I think, I mean, obviously in between doing what I'm doing here, I mean, I'm completely immersed in the retreat, you know, for the past 2 months, really. I've been, you know, painting and kind of like just infusing all my energy into this place as a, really not into just this place, but into a memory, because I know that this is the next step. This is the Including You Formula Retreat, you know, the Including You Trust. And I think, for me, it's those foundations. It's like what we're doing is laying those foundations that are going to be here forever. It's like we're marking history, you know, and that's no small feat. That's like, that's incredible to think all the people. It's just we're building from strength to strength in so many different ways, and not necessarily in ways that we've seen before, because we haven't. It's the first time that we're doing this, so there's nothing to be. There's everything just to celebrate, as far as I can see. It's just, it absolutely is incredible.
A massive stepping stone, a massive milestone on that long journey to wherever.
Absolutely. I can tell I'm really
I don't suppose the end retreat in Ireland will be the end of it either.
No, not at all. In fact, that's the other thing, because I was thinking, oh my gosh, actually, that's getting really, really close. And so if that's really close, what's next? Because I know that there's, I mean, I don't know whether or not I'm going to be traveling before that, because the Ireland retreat, again, there's so many things that have been happening here that have made me think, gosh, do I want that? Or what is it that I want? I need to be really clear based on this experience here. And in a way, I was thinking, do you know what? It isn't a retreat. It isn't really a retreat. It's a home. It's a home, and that's what it is. I have to find my home, because I know my home is a place that is buzzing with lots of people, and I know that it's. I mean, here we've got a bread and breakfast, which is a home, and at the same time, it's a home for the host and hostess, but it's also a business, and it's kind of like, how do you differentiate between the two? And for me, there wouldn't be a differentiation between the two for my home. It would be a home, but people would know it's a retreat, because that's where they come to retreat. That's where they come to rest and be treated equally and respectfully and with a high quality, that they know that they'll know that they're a retreat.
But it's more not a retreat as a business. It's this is my home, come and retreat here.
Absolutely. Because in a way, it's kind of like, if Anthea Fenton travels wherever Anthea Fenton travels, Anthea Fenton is people feel a certain energy. If I'm behaving correctly, if I'm behaving well, then people feel a certain way when they're around me, because that's who I am.
You're being authentic to yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. And I'm being authentic. So it's kind of like, so the reality is, we are the home, aren't we? We are home. Yeah. Wherever we go, we are home. So this blooming retreat, that the granddad's place, I think is kind of like just said, that's the place in Ireland. I'm so excited about that, honestly. Ladies' View, I'm so excited. But it will be from the moment that people step off whatever mode of transport that they arrive. I'm hoping that that'll be the case, actually. That they will feel like, oh my gosh, because Ladies' View in Ireland is that feeling. It's amazing.
I don't know that. What is Ladies' View in Ireland?
Oh, it's in Kerry. It's where the retreat is going to be.
All right. What is it? It's a particular property, or
place? No, it's just an area. It's called Ladies' View. I was driving around this bendy road, and I just saw Ladies' View, and I thought, that's a bit of an unusual name. And then within a few minutes, there was this view that was just like, I've got to stop the car. I don't even know if there's any land that's around there, but if there's meant to be, there will be. But the view of it was just oh my gosh, you felt the energy. The energy was just incredible. So that's the feeling, I think, that
Ladies' View, Ring of Kerry.
That's the one, yeah.
Ladies' View, Kerry.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
No, I've got to tell you this. I just feel to say, I am currently listening to a book that is called, let me go find it so I get the title right.
Not surprising.
I'm a bit controversial, think, oh really? But it is, and then some of it, but you think, oh okay. And this is called give me the
realize are pure.
Cool. Hang on a minute. I'm going to send you this book, I think, because I can. It's called Pussy, a Reclamation.
All right.
And it's by this woman called Regina Tomashauer. It's the American pronunciation. And it's basically about getting in touch with the divine feminine in each one of us, and how essentially we're part of, we've lost that for 5,000 years. We've been out of that. And she did lots of research into, she's come from an abusive background, which she goes into a bit in the book, from a point of view of, don't feel sorry for me, but this is my story.
Yeah.
This is where I came from. But about this patriarchal society in which we now find ourselves, that's come into being in the last 5,000 years. But prior to that, when you research ancient Japanese stuff, ancient Greek stuff, Roman stuff, mythologies, all the rest of it, it was a matriarchal society,
right,
where we weren't afraid to claim our feminine power, and the world was a better place for it.
Wow.
Now that we're not with that, we've been brainwashed into discounting ourselves as women, discounting the divine feminine, etc., etc. And she goes through this, and it's really interesting. It's challenging to listen to, because of course we're brainwashed with this patriarchal stuff.
Yeah.
You don't think about that, you don't talk about that, you don't think in that way.
Yeah.
But just some of the stuff we've been talking about tonight is sort of resonating with that. I thought, oh, this is
really good. Yeah, because I don't know if you know that The Myths of Men, which is the book that I wrote. Well, I wrote it a few years ago. But that talks, The Myths of Men was about online dating in the 21st century. And there was 18 women characters. We've got to resurrect it again, but there was 18 characters, which is how I met Tracy and Jerry Lee. And
where do I find this book, The Myths of Men, then?
The Myths of Men, I have to put it up on. So basically, when I joined SFM, or as you know, Six Figure Mentor, I decided that was going to be the first book that I was going to launch on Valentine's Day. So last year, Valentine's Day, we launched The Myths of Men. And so there's a Myths of Men manifesto that was up on the website, but that's all changed. So I need to upload it onto the website so that you get access to that. But there's a manifesto and then there's a book. But each of the women are reading out each of the Myths of Men. There's 18 characters. And so some of them are still there, but on the YouTube, and some of them I'll have to try and find them. But they, what I did was I wrote about these 18 characters. And then what I realised was that even though I wasn't bashing men or anything like that, but what I realised is that when I was writing the book, my friend Eamon from Ireland I was helping him to write a book. Well, he wanted me to read this book and give him some feedback, and which is interesting. And as I was talking, I told him about my book, The Myths of Men, that I hadn't wrote, but I really needed to sit down and write. And he said, "Oh, you've got to write that book. My gosh." So I was telling him about some of the characters. So every day for 9 days, he just really encouraged me to write about these 18 characters. So I basically wrote 2 characters a day and finished the book within 9 days, but it's almost 9 years, I'm sure, to publish it. But what came out at the end of it was that it wasn't about men. I literally just channeled I did the writing, and at the end I did the conclusion. And the conclusion was about the divine masculine, divine feminine. That's what it was about. It was about that the divine masculine and feminine in each of us has never had the opportunity to rise, and that's what we're needing to claim. So when you see the word together, that's exactly what it is. If you notice, I put to get her, which is the divine feminine in each of us together. So that's what that actually means. So it's good to actually be able to explain that, because a lot of people go, why does it say to get her? It's like actually together get the divine feminine from both of us, because it's a two-way. It's not just it's not just women. It's actually it's men as well. The men need to reach for their divine feminine in order to free our world from the state that it's in. So no, that sounds really interesting. But I've got to get this the book stuff sorted with regards to the Myth of Men. I have to redo it again. Yeah, it's funny actually, because Mel Robbins is in there, but I don't fully resonate with her, but that's all right. It's one of those things. But I've got to find Empowering Angel. That's what it is. Under not Empowering Angels, it's the other one. But I think it's, yeah, I'll have to try and find that. It's hidden under, it's hidden. It's not so easy.
Get it out there.
The what, sorry?
I said it's hiding away. Get it out there.
I know, it has to be, yeah, I mean, it's all over. It's funny actually, you haven't, but you weren't, I don't know, you weren't, there was, I did 90 videos. It was whilst I was doing the 90-day video series that I decided that I would find these women, and then we ended up, like I said, doing loads. So yeah, I'll have to find them, because we did keep it incognito to start off with, so that people kept hidden. So yeah, I'll have to find it. So funny. So what we've got is I've got an audio that I want to play that I've done today. Let me just see how we do that. Did I do the audio last time, or did I put it up on video? I'm just trying to think. Let's see if we can do it this way.
Last time you spoke, I'm sure, and you recorded it, then posted it afterwards, but you spoke live rather than playing audio.
Let's see if we can do it this way. See if we can. I can't remember because I know I haven't uploaded it yet. So it's still in the voice recorder. I just don't have the. It's really difficult uploading things. I mean, like last week's video, I've not taken the computer out of the room since last week. So let me know if you can hear this.
Greetings and welcome to this audio, which is about.
Okay, brilliant. So what we'll do then is when you finish, let me know. Then we'll just see if we can do a sitting up. A sitting up. Yeah. It's funny because Sonia said in one of her audios, she said it's better to have the north to south pole, and I thought, gosh, yeah, because I wonder how much difference. Because for me, infinity healing is infinity healing, and it will receive and it'll go where it needs to go, whether or not you sat up, down on your head, or whatever. That's how I see it. But I suppose in terms of when you're out there and just starting out or whatever, I don't know. But when you said it, I just thought, oh gosh, I wonder if Catherine will feel different if she sits up. So it's running for about 20 minutes. So this is basically a infinity healing that was to introduce me to the contest. So it's given me an opportunity to get out there, and I just wanted to play around and test. So it's going to be brilliant to have your feedback. So I would like everybody's feedback who listen to this audio. It is about childhood traumas, but I think childhood trauma is a bit broader than just childhood, really. I think it's, and whatever people will receive, they'll receive. So feel free to enjoy this little gift. But yeah, it should be about 20 minutes, if that's all right.
Well, I think also trauma is actually a much broader term than people recognise. People hear the word trauma and think of, ER and really, really dreadful things happening. Yeah. But actually trauma is really just something that happened that affected you that you're still carrying around.
Absolutely, and absolutely.
It could be, in the grand scheme of things, relatively minor, but when it happened to you as a child, it had a big effect.
Absolutely. And I think it's what we were saying last time, wasn't it? And it's really, it's great to be doing these audio. That's why I sat over there. It's great to be running these audios as a means to start getting this discussion out there and start, tapping into. I'm just going to unplug this. I'll just try and get this plug in. It's good to be actually getting these discussions out there. That's what I think, to be able to open it up in terms of helping people to know that everything, that they are okay and that this stuff needs to be explored.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah, that's it. It's stretched across. Fantastic. So this is going to be an interesting one. Let's see what feedback we've got for listening to this one and how it's come out. So enjoy. Let's obviously. I'm hoping that's given the. So where's the play on it?
Interesting for you listening to it yourself and going through it again.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think the recipient of it rather than the giver of it.
I know, it's like, oh my gosh. It was really weird last time though, I must admit. It was really strange listening to myself. Well, yeah, it'd be interesting because I can't remember now, but I remember thinking at the time, gosh, this feels really strange. But actually I felt really tired. I thought, God, I could just go to sleep now. So we'll see if that's the same thing. Enjoy.
Greetings and welcome to this audio, which is about releasing childhood traumas, in particular fear. Fear has certainly brought up for many people that I've worked with, but also fear for myself. And so we're going to be working on the root chakra for this activation. So I know that if you're listening to this activation, it certainly is for you. My name is Anthea Fenton, and you can find more information about me and what I do on antheafenton.com. My passion is to nurture seedlings to reach their full potential, working in collaboration with story, play and healing. My journey has been, as you'll see on my website, is the Journey of Innocence. It's 21 chapters of really childhood traumas and my first 21 years in this world. Now, the reason for doing this audio is really about my own healing and the journey that I've taken, which is one of the reasons why I created the book in the first place, was to write about these 21 chapters, knowing that maybe releasing some of these stories would really help me to heal. And it certainly has done that. It's helped to build self-confidence and self-esteem, and my aim, my goal, my passion is to be able to bring me as the gift to the world, in order to empower people to know that they can do it, that you can do it, that you can be the best version of you. And so my role is to handhold as many people as I can through that journey, just to know that you are unique and that there is something within you that our world needs to see. So that's my passion, that's why I'm here, and I really hope that you receive the best of your intentions through this healing audio. If I have to explain it in terms of what I do, is I'm just a channel for this healing energy, and if everybody can do infinity healing, it is something that you focus on with intent. And so my intention today is to be that channel, that conduit for the healing energies to come through to anybody who's drawn to this audio, for them to receive the maximum and to release the maximum, in order to be able to really break through your own healing journey, your own of what you need. So I'm going to really now just bring in my guides, my team and angels, and I'm asking for the same for you as well, God, Source, Universe, to really be present for the benefits of you, for the benefits of me, to be surrounded by that love and embraced, and to know that this process is about receiving the most for your higher self, and that everything that you will receive is based on what you desire and what's the best for you. So as we connect to our higher self and calling in our guides and teams to be with us over the next 10-20 minutes, and I want you to take some very deep belly breaths, about 3 deep belly breaths. And as we're doing this, we're just preparing ourselves and grounding ourselves. If you sat up and your feet are on the ground, then just feel your feet, because we're going to be getting grounded. Really relax your shoulders. It's often an area of tenseness as we embark upon this little journey together. And if you can imagine a beam of light that's coming right from the top, from the sky, from Father Sky, all the way down into Mother Earth. What we're going to do is we're just going to step into that energy. We're going to step into that beam of light that's coming straight down. It's going to come right through us, and it's going to anchor us right into the core of Mother Earth. And as it comes down, that big white illuminating light is coming through our crown. It's coming through our third eye. You can see it illuminating all the different areas in our bodies as it's coming down our throat, into our throat chakra, into our heart, and through to our solar plexus, our sacral, our root. It's just lighting up our chakra system, and it's going down our hips and our thighs, our knees, our calves, our ankles, our feet. It's going straight down. You can see it straight down into the core of Mother Earth, through all that goodness and energy at the core of Mother Earth, and it's coming back up. It's going to start coming out, so as above, so below and around us. So as it comes back up, it's coming up our feet, our calves, our knees, our thighs, our hips, our root chakra, our sacral, solar plexus, and it's going to our heart. And as it reaches our heart, it's going out into our physical layer, going out into our etheric. You can see this, so we're breathing in and we're breathing out. Another big breath. And as you can see, it's going out into our mental, emotional, spiritual layer. Each time as we breathe in and we breathe out, it's getting further out. It's going out into the room that we're in. It's expanding out into the city, into the town, into the country, into the planet. It's expanding right out. It's going right out into infinity. It's going into all our past DNA or our past lives. It's going right back into our ancestry, into our generation, because many of our issues can lay right into all those times. It's going all the way back to infinity. So it's expanded all into our genes, into our every aspect of ourselves, because we're really wanting to clear on all these different layers. And that's what infinity healing is about. So we're going to just sit into that space and just imagine that you're surrounded, you're protected all the way back to infinity. So I'm now going to activate the Infinity Healing Energetic Template. And in a moment I'm going to ask you a series of questions. If you would like to receive the healing associated with each of those questions, then simply just say yes. It is in the yes that the energy of healing is released. So I'm activating the template. And I'm asking, would you like to receive an infinity healing to clear everything in the way of you receiving the maximum during this session? If you would like to, then say yes. Would you like to receive an infinity healing to clear anything in the way of you releasing the maximum during this session? If you would like to receive that, say yes. And if there is any part of you that sometimes this can happen, that is interfering with you, doesn't understand, is sabotaging, or is afraid of what is available for you today, would you like to receive a process to move those parts of you aside, to show them what is happening from your highest perspective, so that all aspects of you can be on board with you receiving and releasing the maximum throughout all levels of your being? If you would like to receive that, then say yes. So there will be, I'm going to give you some prompts now, because we are talking about childhood traumas, and what we are releasing is the density of fear. And the reason how this came about was because for my own self, I'd wrote a book, The Journey of Innocence, of 21 chapters of my own upbringing and childhood. And I was a child who came into this world feeling that something wasn't quite right. And so I spent a lot of my years struggling in feeling unsupported, feeling unloved, feeling alone. And that's what we're going to be addressing today. And a lot of fear was attached in there as well. And so I wondered who else was feeling the same way, who else had experienced the same. And even though I hadn't had infinity healing at the time, I just knew that I wanted to work not just by sharing stories of sadness, but really working towards joy, ease and flow, and knowing that if I could really tap into my experiences in order to be able to assist another, then that's my purpose in life. So from the scars to stars is the process and the journey, and that's the gift that's been brought to you in terms of that pure heart intention of love, for that to happen for you to receive the maximum during this time together. So if you would like to clear all those memories of scarcity, all those feelings of scarcity and struggle that maybe you experienced as a child. And let's face it, all of us have experienced pain coming into this world. So it doesn't mean that you've experienced any
physical harm, emotional, mental harm from your caregivers. It's really very much about just that basic struggle of being in this world and maybe experiencing that directly, or certainly in terms of coming into this world. So if you'd like to receive that infinity healing to release and clear all those feelings around scarcity and struggle, then say yes. And it really tapping into that scarcity, you know. And I know for myself, I was brought up by a single mum, and there was lots of mouths to feed, and so scarcity on a financial level was something that was very prominent in my life. If you would like to receive the effects of that scarcity mindset and poverty mindset, if you would like to receive an infinity healing around releasing those experiences that maybe have caused a block in your life, then do simply say yes. And leading on with that, around clearing money blocks, you know, many people have had messages of money doesn't grow on trees, and who do you think I am? And, you know, the root of all evil. Money is a massive understated, has an understated effect on many people that I speak with, many people. And so the money blocks can have so much knock-on effect in so many different ways. So if you would like to release all those memories around money, any money blocks that has stopped you from really stepping into your truth in terms of having plentiful of resources, if you would like to receive an infinity healing clearing around money blocks, then simply say yes. If you've felt that you've not felt supported, if you felt unloved, again, these are very clear when it comes to many people who I speak with who have not felt supported in this area in their lives. And it links in so much around scarcity and struggle. And so if you feel that you've not felt supported, and that's something that's continued into your adulthood, and that you felt unloved, maybe not loved in the way that you feel that you deserve love, and if you'd like to receive an infinity healing, then to clear all that, then do say yes. Those times when you felt alone, you felt that nobody understood, and that you was maybe not as connected to your higher self as you are today, or maybe your higher self is still yet to fully connect in terms of you recognizing your higher self, because of blocking it from being a child, because of blocking it for fear of actually just surviving. And I say that because I know for myself, I would have been in that category of cutting myself off just to protect, just to survive, just to really try and remain invisible. And if you remember those times when you felt invisible, or that you wanted to make yourself invisible because that was a safer option to do, living maybe in turmoil, if you'd like to receive that infinity healing to clear that, then simply say yes. And there's a lot coming up as I'm referring to this subject around density of fear. For all those times when maybe you felt so frightened at such a young, tender age, maybe you felt helpless, that you weren't able to do anything, that you weren't necessarily heard, you weren't seen, that there wasn't much love to go around. If you'd like to receive an infinity healing to clear all those resonance of density that no longer serve, then simply say yes. And as we continue this clearing around the root chakra, and one of the biggest things that's very common amongst a lot of highly sensitive people, is that sense of not belonging. And I know for myself, I often wondered why on earth am I here? But the best was yet to come, and I know that is to be true to you. So if you'd like to clear all that feeling like you don't belong, if that ever appears in your life now, to clear that feeling of not belonging, if you'd like to receive an infinity healing for that, then simply say yes. That feeling of not being grounded, of often living in a world where imagination and fantasy is much easier to cope with because it avoids this world. If you'd like to receive an infinity healing to clear not so much the imagination, but more about really supporting you in grounding yourself so that your energies can feel more balanced as opposed to out of balance. If you would like to receive an infinity healing for that balancing, then simply say yes. And if you would like an activation to really, really pull in your Kundalini power from your base root, to really anchor in that power to support your esteem and confidence in stepping up into the fullness of who you are, then simply ask, say yes. And if you would like, as a gift, that default button to be one that any time that over from now to infinity, those moments of wobble, or maybe, sometimes it can happen where we forget, then let's set our default button. Let's put that default button into this activation. That any time that you feel any of those that we've been clearing, maybe just sneaking back a little bit, we're going to ask for that default button to recognise that all these experiences that you had were necessary. That we had, all those experiences that we had as a child around density of fear were necessary to remind us of the loving contrast that we are now living. To remind us of that time, and that our true heartedness is now our new default button, and that we can identify with that every day, that we are loving, and that this life is about living. It's about living abundantly with wellness, and that wellness is always coming to us. If you would like to receive that infinity healing to create that default button, to know that all those experiences that we experienced as a child, those traumatic experiences, were in order to give us contrast, for us to be able to live our full, loving, abundant selves now. If you would like to receive that, then simply say yes. And we're now going to just have some integration time to allow that to integrate. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, and just to finish off our session, just know that there is the autopilot that runs the energies that help to continue to run through you until you receive the maximum shifts. So if you would like to receive that autopilot command for that to take place, then over the next 24 hours, then say yes. Okay, so in order to ground the activation, we want to bring all those energies back. So we're bringing them back from the heart chakra first. We're bringing it all in from the infinity and beyond. We're drawing them all back from all planets, from our DNAs, and we're bringing it all back in from as far as it's gone out into the world, back into the country, the town that you're in, the building that you're in, from the physical level, the mental, the emotional, the etheric, the physical, back into our hearts and up from our feet, from the core of Mother Earth, from our feet, our calves, our ankles, our calves, our knees, our thighs, our hips, all the way up our root chakra. That we've done a lot of work. Our sacral, our solar, our heart, our throat, our third eye, our crown, and all the way back up into Father Sky. We bring them back down to really, we closed all that off and bringing it back down and resting it into our hearts and into our feet, to making sure that we're grounded and that we're stretching and we're taking some deep breaths to arrive back and to really feel grounded and centered and in our power. And just thank our team and our spirits, my team, your team, our spirit guides, our supporters, all those that are really rooting for us to help us to become the best that we can in this earth. And we are all necessary, we're all needed, we're all unique. We've got to bring our gifts to this world. So thank you all to our team, to God's Source Universe. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being with us today through this activation. And I just ask that you drink plenty of water. Often a lot of people get very, very thirsty after they've had an infinity healing. You may also receive some purging symptoms. Again, go with the flow of those. Be gentle on yourself. Really know that you've gone through a powerful process. Stay grounded. I often put my hand on my heart and feel my heartbeat, and that really taps me right back into being grounded. Just keep yourself grounded, because it's so easy just to be floating off. Again, if you need a follow-up call from me, if you want to receive more of my audios, then do have a look at my page, AntheaFenton.com. You'll see lots of different things that I'm doing there around story, play and healing. But again, you can follow me up with regards to an infinity healing. By all means do, and do tap into some of my audios. Be very mindful and aware of your dreams, of any shifts that take place, any changes, any inner guidance, because you've really tapped into the truth of who you are during these sessions. And so being mindful that you will be receiving little synchronicities and different signs all the time. Thank you so much for listening to this audio. I would really welcome your feedback, and do
I didn't unmute you, Catherine. Yeah. You stayed awake.
Oh, hey, awake for a whole infinity healing session.
Oh, infinity healing session. What was that like? But it's the first time you've ever thought, you've ever heard it.
The whole thing. No, it's really good. It's really good. I mean, it's just there were there's so many things there that just sort of just resonated with me, that I could genuinely say yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Because
incredible. It's an incredible process.
They're all things that we have going on for ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
have had during our lives in one way or another, that you can just think, yeah,
it's
amazing, actually.
It is actually, because I think what I find amazing is, because as I was listening to you, I was thinking, yes, you know, and it's like, gosh, did I say that? Because I don't know. I really don't know. I just go with the flow, and it's impossible to have a script. I'd wrote some things down, but I'd wrote them down about it must be 3 months ago. And when I got the book, I found the book a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. I've started my Infinity Healing book. And I started to write the chakras, and I really wanted to try and specialize on the root chakra more than anything, because I know that's where there's a lot I thought, right, that's it, focus on that. When I opened the book, I'd only wrote a little bit about the root chakra and a bit about the solar plexus, the sacral. I just thought, how interesting that, because I thought that's the area that I want to focus on. And so it was there. So I thought, you know what, let me just do it, or else I'll just be faffing around with the head, and it just needs to come from the heart. So I thought, I'll do it. So it's getting there. I'm saying it's getting there. I don't know. I'm listening to that tonight. It's just like, I'm into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be an interesting one. So that's going to be, I've got to now edit it in terms of, there was one part, I belched. Did you hear me belch?
No.
There was where it was said, right, I'm going to do the I remember at the time thinking, because I know you say it's an upgrade when you're belching, it's an upgrade. Yeah. But at the same time, I just thought, I was like, right, integration time. And then I was like, but I was very thirsty. And I noticed at the beginning, I didn't realise I did quite a lot. But I'm going to submit it anyway. I'm not going to. So
I honestly didn't hear any of that. And normally that's the kind of thing I'm quite sensitive to. I can easily be distracted by stuff like that. Yeah. And I can't say I heard any of that.
How interesting. Because I thought, actually, because it's the quiet time, I could just slice it out, in terms of trimming it. But I might just leave it in.
Yeah, I would just leave it. Well, yeah, I say I didn't notice it. And so usually that's exactly the kind of thing. Because I find it so hard to get out of my head,
which is
that's
great.
The kind of thing I would normally be really sensitive to, and then be distracted. I'd be going off on a tangent of, oh, she's doing this, she's doing that, I can't do this. Well, I didn't hear any of it.
How interesting. So there's something shifted for you then, isn't there? For you not to be tuned into that.
Yeah.
That's really good, because I was really conscious.
The power of the Infinity Healing that's kind of taking over, that stuff just sort of falls away. For anybody, you're conscious of it because you're listening to yourself, which is always different.
Absolutely. Because I've never belched on a recording. I just thought, my God, because I thought to myself, oh, it's far enough the mic, it might not have picked it up, but as I was just like there, I was like, oh, there it is.
I mean, I'm conscious through that, actually, of yawning a lot. I mean, I know it's quite late and I'm getting tired, but I haven't yawned all evening while we've been talking. But then through that, and to me, that's a release.
Absolutely.
I'm releasing, I'm yawning. So this saying yes to something is then releasing something.
Excellent. Oh, that's good. No, it's all good. So that's going to be, I'm going to work on that. I'm going to upload this, because I've not got the call with Mary tonight from Australia, so it means that I can actually upload, because it's always downloading when we're talking on the thing. So I just never get the computer then to get, because Cassie said, can you upload the recording? And when I went to upload it from over there, an hour and 6 minutes it was telling me that it was going to upload. I thought, no. Something that takes 3 minutes. I wasn't going to use my data up to do that. So it just means switching it on more than anything. So I shall do that tonight. But no, thank you for that, Catherine.
Well, you can get an early night tonight now if you're not talking to Mary as well.
I know. It's like, how can that be? So I probably work till about 10 actually, but I need to find to download what we've just done, and then download the audio as well, upload it onto an MP4 and get a picture to go with that, which will just be the basic Infinity Healing one. But it's all good. It is all good.
It is.
Super. So sleep well. And
thank you. I'm sure I shall.
Yeah, thank you. So you've got 2 weeks, and then, gosh, it's just going to be a massive weeks for you in March, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got a week until I move. Yeah.
Yeah, a week until you move, then moving, and
then settle in, and then retreat.
Then retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah, exciting time. And a month to remember, eh?
Oh yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
I think we will be. Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Catherine.
All right.
Good night, lovey. Good night.